Hi guys, welcome back. Jean here. All right, today we are going to work on these keychains I showed you guys in the haul. So I got the rectangle ones and I got the round ones, and they both came with tassels. This set, the rectangle ones, the set was, there's 50 sets. So 50 of the keychains, 50 of the tassels, and they were $18.95 for the set. And that comes out to 37 cents a keychain, so that'll be really good craft fair item. And then the round ones was 25 sets, and that was $8.55, which came out to about 34 cents for a keychain. So these would be really, really good for craft fairs and stuff. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas on what you can do with them. We're going to be filling them with a few different things, basically sequence mixes. When you fill these, you want to fill them with a flat sequence, nothing that's cupped. The cup ones stick up a little too far, but you can take, like this mix here has a lot of flat ones in it, so I just take a few other flat ones out if I need it. These flower ones here are flat. These, I can't remember where these came. These are kind of like really teeny microscopic little sequin mixes. Those work perfect. Seed beads don't work. Any kind of beads will not work in these. They just stick up too fat, but they're really kind of cute. So what I'm going to show you, I'll fill this one. We don't want to fill it too full either because you don't want too much in there. I'll tell you one thing. When you put this down, you cannot take it back up, okay? So once you put this cover down, you cannot take it back up. I learned that the hard way. All I'm going to do is kind of push them away from the edge just a little bit because the edge is going to kind of trap them. So I might have too many in here. We'll see. These are flat enough. They may work. They, you know, if there are too many. Okay, whoops. I like to get like kind of one edge in there, and then you got to push down really hard. Sometimes I have to stand up and push them down. Now, I know we're going to be dealing with a glare. See, now these, see, I did bulk it up too much, so you don't want too many layers. So you don't want to do that. Okay. So let's do another one. I'll still use that for, you know, just to show you. Woo, Jean. I usually have my little tool down here. Take my pokey tool in here, I think, somewhere. So you kind of want to get them, separate them a little bit best you can. Okay. Some of them will go on easier than the others. Now, I know you're not going to be able to see them shaking around because I'm shaking them. They're shaking. There, I'll just kind of down to the bottom. Okay. So you can use those. What works really, really well is this one and this one work really, really well. Let's take one out of here. I already have some filled already in case I had trouble because these rectangle ones can be hard to close. Get this straight. So just dump these. Like I said, this is a really fine. Woo, probably a little too much. I should have used the shaker. It has a shaker on top here. And you think I did that the other day. I opened it up and I learned my lesson. Use the shaker. Okay. Then I like to push one end in and then give it a good. And then sometimes I have to literally stand up. Whoops, hit the camera. You can hear that click. And this one's up just a little on this side. And you can hear the click again. So make sure, oh, this corner is a little bit yet. Get that cleaned off there and make sure. Some of them are really hard to do. But these, the pink, these move around really, really well. So I like these. Same with these little bitty flowers that I found. Could be Hobby Lobby, could be Michael's, I don't know. So I already have a couple of them that I filled it with what I think I want to do with them. And then I got a couple samples. So the first thing is this one I filled with the cute little flowers. You can see them move around there. So one way you can deal with these is gonna make sure I have everything on. Okay. Is I picked out these out of my stash. I thought were really cute. They're just flatbacks. Let's bring you back. Come visit me. Why won't my camera go? Come on, camera. There we go. It didn't want to come up any farther. Okay, I know we're gonna deal with glare on this because of the keychains. These are charms. So they have the little hook on. All you do is just take your little, play your nose and just unscrew it. And then you can't even tell that it was a charm anyways. So we're going to glue this on. A couple different glues you can use. I prefer the Loctite super glue and get the gel. But the B7000 works really well too, but it takes a little bit longer to dry. So when I'm messing with this, I don't have time to be, you know, waiting for one side to dry, because if you flip it over, I'm going to put a flower on each side so you can see it from both sides when you're dangling whatever you're doing with it. So just put a little bit on and put this on. Just hold it there for a second. And hopefully it'll be dry enough. You got this cute little keychain, but I am also going to do the other side. You don't have to do both sides. I just prefer it just so that you can see it from all sides. You know, because it's going to be a keychain. It might be a dangle, might be whatever. But you might want to see it. And I'm going to try to get it and line it up with the other one as close as possible. Just so they kind of match. And kind of let that sit there for a second. And then you have a really cute little keychain. So that's one thing, one way you can do to decorate it. So put that out this side to dry. Make sure I didn't move the bottom while we're sitting here. Another way you can do it is this one I filled with, I wanted a blue background. So I took the blue flat ones out of this mix I had and put some in because I wanted a blue background for this one. Make it look like the sky. That's the lightest blue I could find for it. What I'm going to take is I have these rub-ons. I already cut the two out that I want. So these are from Crafter's Companion. There was from the Botany Boutique. They might still sell it, but you know, I always try to put all the links in of things we can still find. Any rub-ons you have work, okay? So I'm going to put the rub-on, we're going to put a rub-on on this one to show you different things that you can use for these, to see what you have in your stash and what you want to do to make. Of course, if you have acrylic markers, you can do some coloring or drawing. I'm not the very best artist, so I don't, you know, really get into that stuff too much. If you have a Cricut, any kind of die cut machine like a Cricut, I have some, but I wasn't going to get into that today. I don't like to use things that you guys might not have, so I don't like to use my Cricut and stuff like that. There's plenty of people out there that specialize just in that in their YouTube videos. Not everybody has that, so I like to stick with things that you guys can get pretty easily. So like acrylic markers, you can go ahead and, you know, draw designs on there, their initial, anything like that. I do have, like, you can use alphabet stickers to put their initials on, stuff like that. Now just pull up, make sure you got it. Rub-ons are so nice, they go on so easy. Okay, so there's that. I was just looking at my nails, make sure I still don't have ink on. I'm working on another project, you know. So I stopped so I could tape quick since my daughter's at work. The dogs are down for their bedtime. So I thought I'd quick get this taped. And I can't tape when the dog's around. They would just be like jumping all over me. They'd be like, they want all the attention in this house. I'll tell you that, those two. Okay. Let's make sure. So then you have something like that. Okay. I know I'm doing the best with the glare, guys, but so there is two different ones. Now, what else you can do? Let me grab, I need a circle one for this one. Grab down in there, get one, a round one. These are really, really cute, like little additions to, you know, your craft fair. Or, this one is already tapped down. That's not good when they're already down in there. I hope this one isn't. I may have to, you know, contact him about some of those. I may go through the whole bag. Okay, that's, you know, a couple of them. Maybe we don't want this brand. Yeah, this one feels like it's... There we go. I'll have to look at that a little bit more thoroughly there. Okay, so for this one, all I did is I had some Disney paper. You can use anything, okay? I cut out 2 circles. I used the lid, put it on top the image that I wanted, and then just cut a circle out. Now, I did 2 of them because I want mine double-sided, but you can do one, like, so you could put the one down. Then on this side, if you want, you could put sequin mixes if you want. So now make sure you get it in there. I want her head to be straight up. Okay, and then on this side, I'm going to put her. But yeah, if you only want to put an image on one side, put the image down first, then fill it with your sequin mix and put the lid on. Now remember, the paper is going to bulk it up just a little bit, so use something really thin, like something like this one here, the real fine dust one like. Okay, let's put this up. This one's not going to get no sequin mix. Not everybody likes bling and all that stuff, so here's a simple one. Okay. You can, of course, put pictures in it, but you can get the kids to make a little image, and they can make little keychains for their grandparents, aunts, uncles, whatever. This would be a good one, a good craft for kids. This would be a good one to have the kids, you know, maybe you want to make one for the kids, help you make one, and use like the Valentine images and use it for, give this for Valentine's instead of giving candy. You know, something like that. So what I want to add on it, I cut my picture a little crooked. This one's better on this side. But I picked out these in my stash. They're just the little bows. And I got glitter. And we're going to put this up there, kind of where her bow is. Let's put a couple drops on. Kind of put that up towards the top. Give that a second to cure a little bit so that I can flip it over. This is the smallest bow. I didn't even have nothing, no nail art that worked. Surprising, right, guys? So if you have maybe a little bit smaller bow, that might be a little better, but I'm just giving you some little examples right here. Okay, I think I can flip it and do the other side quick. This should all be dry pretty much by the time we finish. So like take your stickers. You can just take regular stickers. You don't have to have iron-ons or rub-ons either. If you don't want to, you just take stickers. Put your initial on one side. You can put a picture on the other side if you don't want to use sequins. So you can take and put a picture on. Maybe you can put a picture, you know, like put a picture of your niece on one side. You can put their initial there and still put some sequins inside on this side if you want. So, trying to get that up there. So you have something like that. Now, there's a million different things you can do. I'm just giving you a couple little quick things. Most definitely, you can just leave it like this with sequins in. You do not have to decorate it. All right, so I have 3 that I did decorate and kind of do something different with, okay? This one, where is my... I believe I got this from Dollar Tree, I think. So all it is strips. What I did was cut down. Oh my goodness, all my scissors are stuck in one thing here. So all I did was just cut down one roll. cut it all the way out. I'll just cut a little piece out for now. Cut one row out like that, okay? And then this one I really made shiny, didn't I? So that one shows up really good. All right, and then I just took it around the edge, all the way around the edge on both sides, okay? Then I just wanted clear, so I took some clear that was in here and put some clear sequins in there, which you can kind of see in there. And these are heart flatbacks. Now, this is prettier in person. It's really bright on camera, but it's really, really pretty, really dazzling. These are just some heart with the rhinestone in the middle and the rhinestone all the way around. So let's see if I bring it down. You can get a little better glimpse at it. If I put it on the white, will it work a little better? Without the glare too much. I know it's like if I give you this, it's a glare. But you can see how pretty that is. Nice and, you know, dazzly. Okay. So then, of course, you know, I had to do a Hello Kitty one. So I did the Hello Kitty with that real fine inside. Put Hello Kitty on both sides. Then I just added one of the tassels that come in the box. I did this Hello Kitty head here. And I did a flower, which kind of, you know, reminds me of Hello Kitty. And then I put it on a heart jump ring that I think I hauled those a couple weeks ago. I showed them. I put it all on like that. So then you have this that you can use either, like if you want to just clip it onto your purse, you just put one of the clips on. You can do that. And then you can just clip it onto your purse or whatever, or just put your keys on this, however you want to use it. I don't use key rings, so it would go on my purse. When I sell them, I will sell them with the claps, the lobster claw claps on all of them, so that they can have the option of using it as a keychain or just as a dangle. And then this one, you can just see how the glitter goes. Now the last way, another way you can use it is here, I turned it into just a dangle. So I made one of my purse charms. So here's the lobster clasp. This is what I was talking about. I'll add one of these to all of these before, because it didn't come with these in the kits. But I'll add one of these to all of those before I would sell it. Then they have the option. I'll tell them this is how easy it is to take off. And then I just made dangle, has some flower flatbacks, and so I used the flower sequin mix that I had, yellows and pinks. So I went to my stash. It's hard because of the shine. This is like kind of like a real bright yellow and a real bright pink in here. So I went to my stash and got the brightest beads I could find. So I got the bright hot pink and the hot yellow, and then I wanted some spacers, so I toned it down a little bit with just a lighter pink just in between. And then I put a flower on top. So you can use them to make different dangles. Now, I kept the little ring on that they had on the triangle ring just because this is a little thicker and not all jump rings are real thick. And I know it's strong enough for the bottom. So that's just made with the regular, I make my dangles. So that's another way. And that's probably a way I'm going to use most of them is on my purse dangles. I'm going to kind of personalize each one to go with the dangle, the purse dangle that I'm going to make. And I think most of mine, I will make some keychains for when I do my craft fairs, but I think a lot of them will be done like this. And I will use them for, you know, different, my dangles, like the chunky dangles, or this is a single strand dangle. So, you know, do it different ways like that. I like it on the dangle. I like the little, you know, kind of like a little charm effect we have going on here. So, and you can customize that any way you want. Like I said, again, you can customize it to the person. You can put their initial on there. You can even put their picture in. You can put your dog's picture in there. You can put your child's picture in there. And, you know, something's, you know, you want to really just put their lock of hair in there, you know, put some of their hair in there, you know, that you can do that too. I mean, some people like that, you know. So there's so many different ways that you can do these. Like I said, it doesn't hold a lot. They're thin inside, but I managed to find a few things. There's other things in my stash that I have found that worked inside of there. You just got to keep it flat. So any kind of flat sequin mix. I really like these. I wish I knew where I got them, because these will be really fun, because you can overfill them a little bit and they don't matter, because those work really well. Glitter, don't use glitter. Glitter just stuck to the inside. So that didn't work at all. I thought I would try glitter, and I even used my embossing powder stuff when I do embossing, and then, you know, to see if I could get some of the static off. It did. So all the, like the dust in glitter just stuck to the inside, and you couldn't even see the glitter. So that was a bust. So don't use glitter, but I'm sure there's other things that you can find that you can use. But like I said, there's plenty of things on the market now for sequin mixes. You know, I mean, they even sell, like, I got quite a bit of flat ones in here. There's the Slide cup, but and even this is a Slide cup. It didn't work very well. They didn't slide around, because like I said, it's pretty, these slide really well. The faces slide really well. So anything like that, you know, they slide in there really good. And you don't need a big amount, because whatever you're going to put on there is going to cover it. But I am going to make some that are picture on one side and the sequence on one side, so that, you know, maybe I won't decorate the back side. So you'll have the decoration, the picture, or whatever on the front side, and then on the back side will be just glitter, so nothing covering the glitter up. So I'm going to do some, I'm going to make a whole bunch of different ones. We'll see what sells the best and stuff like that. Of course, I can't do no initial ones. I mean, I could do a bunch of initial ones, but for a craft fair, that won't work so well. But I will just make up a bunch of different things and see how it goes and what sells the best. That's all you can do when you do a craft show. So we got the Hello Kitty one, which has the, you know, like I said, for 37 cents, you get the key ring, you get the little tassel. They were dark color tassels, like, so I didn't have no light pink. So there was no pink at all in these. So greens, blacks, whites, blues, oranges, the maroon stuff. But I had plenty of tassels in my own stash, and this one came with the jump rings, the other one didn't. But I have plenty of tassels in my own stash, so I didn't, you know, really care on the colors, because I'll use different type tassels. I'm not going to use the same tassel when I make it. So I hope this gives you guys a little inspiration to kind of like grab something, go out there and see what you can do with it. You know my brain works in mysterious ways, and, you know, I sit there and look at something and then something else comes out of it. So, but I thought these would be a really easy project to do. Get your kids involved, give them out to school kids, your cheerleading team, you know, anything like that. You know, you can personalize them to your sports team, you know, your school colors. You can, there's so much you can do with it. And if you have a die cutting machine and stuff, guys, you can really go crazy that way. And I will probably pull out my die cut machine and do some things like that when I make them for the craft shows. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and you get a little inspiration out of this. And you have any comments or any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And as always, everyone, I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.